So then, he said there was reports of you had erratic behavior on the plane. So oh, I put on tefillin and I was praying like very kind of seriously. And they're all laughing. They're like, oh, we also do security for El Al, and everyone on El Al, there's tons of that. And I'm like, yeah, but this is New York. You think people like would get it in New York? And he's like, no, 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 whatever. Plane from out of state, flew in from Denver, goyim in the goyim in the country. And so we all start kind of cracking up, but they're trying to they're trying to do their job. And the head guy's all apologetic. He's like, listen, we got to respond to everything. So I'm trying to think what was so erratic. So what happened, he said someone reported you were making a video with dangerous content. So I'm like, so so part of it must have been my last video. I told the story where I carried some beans through TSA and they confiscated them. And then if you look at the last videos I just uploaded, whatever, it's a short video. It says they confiscated the beans, and I said, no, I need the kosher beans. I don't have any food on the plane, so they did me a favor and they did a vapor test, and I said, oh, that's to check it's not for explosives. So whatever, I was talking about this stuff, explosives, TSA, whatever, and then I was relating that to this terrorist incident, and so you just watch the last video. I said it last time. So, so they're all like cracking up, trying to keep a straight face. Meanwhile, everyone's coming out of the plane, like giving me like a dirty look, And also, while this was all happening, I was trying to keep in mind the whole thing in Breslov. Like we try to love being embarrassed. We because it helps us like rise to another level. Rabbi Nachman Zatori says we all have a lot of like stuck blood in the left side of our heart. That's all connected, all our lust and evil, heavy stuff. And when we get embarrassed and our face gets red, he says that's the stuck blood from the left part of the heart is like getting vaporized somehow and like getting expressed, and we're cleaning all this deep karma inside us, So that definitely happened to me. And I was trying to keep that in mind during the whole thing, It also made me think of Rob Berland, who's like the most embarrassed person on the planet. My rabbi is accused of the hugest sex scandal. And it looks pretty much like he did it. He made it up about himself. If you do the research, one of my best friends wrote the biography. You can read the biography. It'll blow your mind. One in a generation, $3 on Kindle. So, yeah, it said that he probably brought that on himself to just like get over himself and to go to a higher level, and like when we're embarrassed it like works something off. Yeah, it's a deep Torah, but we can explain it later more. So anyhow, so the TSA the story just keeps going. So the TSA guys are laughing, and I'm like, do I get anything for this? They're all laughing like, no. I'm like, I should get like a free ticket. This is totally humiliating to get pulled off the plane in front of everyone. And they're like, no. So then meanwhile, part of the deal was I had like an hour and a half layover in Newark, and I was trying to make a decision if I want to skip my connecting flight and just stay in New York for a little while. It's been a long time. I have a lot of stuff to do in New York, and I was going to like land, call a bunch of people, make the decision. So meanwhile, this whole thing took up a lot of time. So I was like frantically, I had like a half an hour left before I had to board, and I was frantically trying to like figure out if I was going to stay in New York or catch my flight. Flights right now are expensive because of the holidays. It's like $300 to fly from New York to Miami. I'll tell you in more in a sec.